Hi everyone, I'm Kate McCauley from Pattern Emporium. Welcome to the next episode of What's in the Pattern. This week we are talking about a modern essential. This is our go-to dress. When we release a new pattern, I like to make a video to show you what is in that pattern. I sew up a whole bunch of samples to show you the different fabrics that you can use and the different styles that you can make to suit your style personality. Now the go-to dress, as I said, is a modern classic. It is one of those dress designs that you constantly go to because it's fast to sew, easy to wear, and it sews up beautifully in so many fabrics. Now if you've been making Pattern Emporium patterns for a while, you will know that I like to make my patterns as versatile as possible so that you can sew them in winter and summer and all the seasons in between. And this dress is no different. It features our classic fitted bodice, and then you can add long sleeves, 3/4 sleeves, short sleeves, or go sleeveless. And then it has a classic crew neck, my favorite, but there are also a whole bunch of mix and match necklines from high, mid and low, front and back. So in the range of mix and match necklines, you can add any one of the fronts to any one of the backs. You could have a low front and a low back, or a high front and a low back, or both mid. All of the necklines will cover your bra at the back. We then have a seam at the waist, and it goes down into our A-line skirt. So whilst it still has flare at the hemline, it doesn't have as much flare as, say, the Heartlight, the Spellbound, the Wanderlust dresses. It's a gorgeous A-line shape, curved over the hip, and then fits beautifully with a seam at the waist. Now on the pattern we have lines for cutting above the knee, below the knee, and a long length. But it is so easy to just add length or take off length to suit that vision that you've got in your head. Now pattern mashing. Very, very easy to pattern mash this pattern. If you look in the tutorial, you will find a page in the Get Creative section that lists all the sleeves that you can add. So you can add a bishop sleeve, you could add the big circular sleeve, whatever is your favorite. Now fabrics. 4-way stretch knit fabrics are ideal for anything that is fitted. So by 4-way stretch we mean that it contains elastane, spandex or lycra. They're all basically the same thing, and it stretches both ways. So the reason for this is as a garment stretches out over your body, over your curves, if it doesn't have elastane or spandex or lycra, it tends to pull upwards because that's where it gets its extra fabric from. So you can make it in fabrics with 2-way stretch as long as it has vertical give as outlined in the tutorial. Otherwise it can tend to be too tight around the armholes, and again it can pull up so everything is shorter than it's intended to be. And there are all sorts of fabrics you can use. ITY, double brush poly, single brush poly, viscose modal, bamboo elastane, all those lovely soft drapey fabrics. You could use a wool knit, a jacquard, a basic polyelastane, a rib knit. Now remember with rib knits that they are going to feel a little bit bigger on the body. I have a rayon rib knit, so it's like a double whammy. It's 2 lots of extra stretching with the rayon and the rib. It does feel a little bigger on my body, but I will show you that one in a sec. You could use French terry. There are so many fabrics that you could use. So just have a look in the information section in the tutorial and you will see a whole bunch of suggestions. If you have fabric in your stash and you don't have quite enough, consider adding a centre back seam. The pattern itself is cut on the fold for the front and the back skirt and bodice. But if you add 7 mils, 1/4 inch along the centre back seam, that takes a lot less fabric. So let us get started with number 1. I received this fabric from Tanya, I think last year. Popped it in my stash, not really knowing what it wanted to be made into yet. And then I was doing some trend research recently, and Pucci-inspired prints are on trend. How fantastic is this print? So Pucci-inspired, and I've framed it with black around the armholes just to give it that perfect finish. So I've used the crew neckline here, and I've used the cutaway sleeveless. Now you will see that there's a wide and a cutaway sleeveless in the pattern. Now you probably wonder why there's two that are so similar, and the reason is very, very simple. Mel likes the wide one and I like the cutaway one, so I've done both. And then I have chosen the long length for this look, and this would look so adorable with a belt around the waist. How cute is that? And as I said, you can make it shorter or longer, totally up to you. I am going to get a lot of wear out of this, and you can see it totally covers my bra straps. Absolutely love it. Next up, we have a double brushed poly from Lush in this gorgeous animal print. Now again, I've done the cutaway sleeves, but this time I've done the high neckline at the front and the low neckline at the back, and I've done it in the below the knee length, and it is totally adorable, like so easy and so versatile. Change up your shoes and wear it to work or fun with a pair of sneakers. Really, really easy to wear, and as I said, fast to make. As soon as I knew I was doing this dress, this is the fabric that I wanted to use. It is a rayon mini rib. So I don't know if you can see that. It's got this tiny, tiny, cute little rib, and it just makes the perfect weekend throw on a pair of sneakers. Fabulous dress. I have done the mid neckline at the front and the high neckline at the back, and again the cutaway sleeves because it's my favourite. I've done the long hemline, and look at that, all that gorgeous drape. What I was saying before about when you do rayon and you do a rib, you do tend to get a little bit of a bigger garment, but so you can see it is lovely and loose, but ribs just tend to just form around you. And then the banded finish, beautifully cover stitched, haven't hemmed it yet, and it just has that gorgeous easy flow, easy to wear, looks fabulous, would look really cute with a fitted t-shirt underneath, but also is so easy to just layer things over the top. So if you were a little bit chilly, you can grab your ultra cropped Sweet Cheeks sweater. And so that is the one that sits up quite high on the waist, which is perfect for over dresses or a high-waisted skirt. See how it goes all the way up really high, so it's not so boxy. I mean, it still is, obviously, because this is such a boxy top. But it's just lovely and warm and comfy for a weekend look. Now, I got this fabric from fabrics.com, and don't forget, with a rib or a very high stretch fabric, check your differential feed. It will be different for around here so that this doesn't go all wavy, but on the first page of the sewing instructions, you will see that noted so that you can check as you sew your garment. Now this is the wide sleeveless. So I don't know if you can see, that sits out quite a bit wider on my shoulders. It is the mid neckline at the front, the low neckline at the back, and again the long skirt. Now this is a very heavy bamboo. It's my favourite fabric. It is from Russell's Fabrics in Brisbane, and it is beautiful quality. I absolutely love it. You can feel the weight of this bamboo on your body. It has a softness, but a firmness, a lightness and a heaviness all at the same time. It's magic, magic fabric. And bamboo, I love the way it, you don't get too hot and you don't get too cold. So this is this fabulous thing. So you can see it still has a little bit of sweep through the hem And it's just so lovely and easy to wear. And if you wanted to add a little bit of a belt to change up the look a little bit, fun. How about with a little bit of animal print to define the waist? Now, before we move on to some sleeve versions of the dress, let's have a look at the skirt. So simply by adding a waistband, and you can add this narrow elastic waistband or a wider yoga waistband, you have yourself a skirt. So this is the long length in a rayon elastane, and I have teamed it with the Besties tee in a sleeveless cropped version. Absolutely adorable. And like I said earlier, you can make it shorter if you need to, or if you're very tall, you can just add length to the hem. And it's so easy to just mix and match our tops. This is teamed with the new Sweet Cheeks sweater. So you have that high-low, easy breezy and loose on top, and then a little bit firmer on the bottom. Or you could go for a long sleeve Sweet Cheeks, or just a simple white t-shirt. And you can make them in whatever length suits your style. And you can make them in whatever length suits your style. This is a very textured poly fabric, and I've teamed it with the Keep It Simple tee. And it also looks fabulous with the banded Besties. So this is one that is cut to the waist, and then the wide band just sits over the top of your waistband to make a gorgeous little ensemble. And this is the below the knee length, so there is one more length that is shorter. Next up, I have a couple of sleeved versions to show you. This is the little cap sleeve, and it is, see how it sticks out? It is slightly looser than our fitted sleeve. This is the crew neck, and then I have done the below the knee. This is a double brush poly from Lush. Tie-dye is still trend, but moving into spring and summer here in Australia, it is more the faded kind of tie-dye. So I thought, how brilliant, I'll just turn last year's tie-dye inside out. And it worked beautifully. It's got this really lovely faded quality whilst not being too pastel. And it is so adorable. Our waist seam. And again, to save on fabric, I cut with a centre back seam. And you could add a fabulous pair of strappy sandals if you wanted to dress it up. The go-to fit and flare dress makes an awesome work dress. This one is in a poly rib knit, and I've done the long sleeve. I've done the high neckline at the back, and this is lower than the low neckline. I made a little bit of a mistake and had to cut lower, so it is kind of a little bit flashy, but the proper one does sit up higher than this. You will see them on the testers when they start sharing. Below the knee length, and just easy, versatile, perfect work dress. And again, a great little work dress in this stripe. It is a poly knit from Super Cheap Fabrics, but it is really, really soft. Has a really nice handle and a nice amount of drape. I have done the long sleeve, I've done below the knee, and then I've done the mid neckline at the front and the high neckline at the back. And this awesome graphic print really, really stands out. Oh, and then I've just framed the neckline just in a black. I love how it does this at the side, but I am terrible at matching stripes. So there are all the options that you can make in your dress. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you and your dresses in the group.